The Olive Garden sucks. A true story by yours truly. Alright, in recent news, the Olive Garden is undergoing a re-imaging campaign to boost its struggling sales. The new image will include things like yoga, smartphones, rather than the old Italian family environment. The change will be organized by Darden Restaurants Incorporated from Orlando, Florida. They're the corporate owners of not just Olive Garden, but Red Lobster. Yuck. Changes. The restaurant will now focus on lighter and lower calorie meals. This means that they will give you less food for the same price. Duh. One noticeable change is the elimination of a classic slogan. Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family. The new slogan. The new direction will at least be honest in how they don't treat you like family. The new slogan, Go Olive Garden, is a la Dunkin' Donuts. It's perfect. Go Olive Garden, go. Go out of business, please. If only more people really understood that Olive Garden isn't an Italian restaurant. In fact, they don't even have a real cooking school in Italy. Every year, they rent out a kitchen from an Italian hotel. They bring in some of their cooks, some of their chefs from around the United States, bring them over to Italy so they can try out new recipes which they are developing in the States with ingredients from the United States, but just transfer them overseas to basically just to see how they work in the Italian hotel. Interesting. My story. Let the rant begin. You know, when I was younger and I was growing up, I used to watch the commercials for the Olive Garden on television. And I'm not going to say that the food looked bad. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it didn't look like it was poisonous or anything like that. Still, it didn't drive me to eat it. One of the weird things I've always noticed about Olive Garden recipes and commercials, they always got some sort of weird white sauce, and it's always different variations on it. But I don't know what it is. I guess it's some sort of Alfredo or something like that. But God only knows what's in it. Alright, it's just some sort of strange thing that Olive Garden seems to use in every one of their dishes. One thing I know for certain, it's not tzatziki. And once again, like I said previously, God only knows what's in it. Alright, so when I went to the Olive Garden, I was a little kid with my parents. We recently got a pretty decent coupon to try out the restaurant. And when I went to the Olive Garden, it looked like this. It didn't look like all those fancy, stonework restaurants they have now. It was basically your run-of-the-mill chain restaurant type of building. And when I went there, it was a little insane. We found out that the restaurant was extremely packed and there was no seats for anyone to sit down in the lobby. So what they did instead was they gave us these box-looking things that kind of look like a brick Game Boy. Alright, if not, maybe like those old Simon things that kids used to play with. Essentially, it was a box with lights, a speaker, and something that would make us shake around and all their silly business. That after waiting for what seemed like an eternity, finally our table became available and our server sat us down. But, just as a thought, Olive Garden, when you're here, your family. When's the last time you had a family dinner and you forced your relatives to stand outside because there wasn't a seat for them? Just the thought. But anyway, what everybody wants to know is, how was the food? Well, when I went to the Olive Garden, they did offer, the supposedly unlimited salad and breadsticks. You couldn't make a meal out of it yet. That promotion didn't get underway. And of course, there wasn't unlimited soup at the time. But the interesting thing was that I cannot even recall my entree. It was that unmemorable. But I can recall a lot of the other things. Like, I had some salad. And I actually enjoyed the salad. It wasn't a perfect salad, but it wasn't a bad salad. The funny thing is, though, anytime it's unlimited, you notice that these waiters and waitresses are just so happy to take away your salad bowl or whatever you're eating the breadsticks with. I finished my salad and I was going to have another bowl of salad, and they took it and ran with it from everyone at the table, got theirs taken as well, and they just never came back to offer another salad, but they did continue to offer breadsticks. Alright. And we had to request them, and the whole thing is that they got stingier and stingier, if that's a proper word, as time went on. Instead of giving you like a full thing of breadsticks, it was only maybe like 2 or something like that. I mean, I'm not going to complain. The breadsticks were pretty good. Yeah, they're a little bit stingy. Let's talk a little bit more about the night here. One of the strange things is I saw my chef and the waitresses throwing things back and forth out from the dining room. Basically, there's the back room where they cook, obviously, and they were just throwing things back and forth to one another. I don't know what they were, boxes or something like that. It was just a little weird. And just as a side note, I'm not saying that someone who is an Italian can't cook Italian food, but none of the staff was Italian. Interesting. Now, one of the things I have to bring up, though, was the pizza. It was the worst pizza I have ever come across in my life. I've never seen anything as bad as this pizza. All right. I don't know what it was. It was too thick. It was almost like a Chicago pizza. Definitely wasn't Italian style, but it was mostly dough. And it was a small personal pizza you can get, and that's what we ordered. Um, and it was unbelievable. I mean, it tasted like a chemically risen pizza. It's just a unique taste they have. And it was almost like I try to guess what made it taste so bad, because I still to this day I haven't had anything that tasted as horrible as that pizza. It was like, they didn't mix the dough properly, and the chemical leavening, it just like burned or something while it was being cooked in the oven. It gives it a really weird taste. And also, another weird thing I noticed is that, it was like, it was weird that the bottom of the pizza wasn't uniformly cooked. And I wondered if they had something in like a brick oven or whatever they were cooking the pizza on that they didn't clean. And it just kind of sat there and burned up, and it just gave the pizza a really horrible taste. And I'll tell you, I would never want to eat it again. But, yeah, I don't want to keep on hating on Olive Garden. So I thought I'd talk a little bit more about some other things throughout the night. One of the interesting things was that they had this little kids meal thing, which was pretty cool. And since we were little kids, they offered us stuff like a little like plastic cup, and I think like there was like a paper to color or something like that. And there was this little character, and there was only one at the time. I guess that's Oli the Olive or something like that, Ollie the Olive, whatever. I mean, it was pretty cute. I guess I could say that. I'm not going to complain in that matter. I mean, I thought it was nice to have a little, touch to try to offer a kid's meal. Now, of course, as you see, they've kind of expanded it to a whole bunch of characters. But, that was one of the interesting, nice things about the night. So basically, this is the conclusion of my Olive Garden sucks video. I don't want to wish harm upon a company, but I'm going to be honest with you. The Olive Garden is not Italian food. And the only memories I have of the organization are negative ones, pretty much. So, Olive Garden, I hope you clean up your act. But, I mean, coming from the people who essentially created, Lobster Month and the worst-selling month of Red Lobster's business to try to turn their business around, I can't really expect for much improvements food-wise. And that's the end of my rant.